Uh-oh, they are starting to notice everywhere. This is Doctor Who TV, that it is in massive trouble as Season 2 is about to come out. These numbers are a little shocking, and it shows that Russell T Davies actually lied about certain elements that he thought were actually going well for Doctor Who. We're going to get into all of this by the numbers in just a moment. This bodes really, really badly for the Season 2, where they're going to be doubling down on identity politics throughout this season. We know what's coming. Russell T Davies has hired the worst possible crew to do Doctor Who, and oh my gosh, they're going to suffer for it. I really think this is going to be the end. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things Doctor Who and science fiction. Really appreciate you guys for being here. My name's John Delarose. I'm a science fiction writer myself, and if you like good science fiction, wonderful writing, you're going to love The Stars Entwined. This is my space opera series. It's about an interstellar war. A human spy embeds himself on an alien starship to bring back information to Earth that is crucial to the series. Check this out. It's in the description below. Really appreciate you guys for being here and for supporting our books. We've had a wonderful, wonderful March, all because of readers like you. It is a full trilogy, and it picks up so nicely over it and pays off for the readers that read the whole thing. It's available on ebook, print, and audio for your convenience in the description below. Thank you for being here. All right, so this week marked 20 years since Doctor Who returned to our screens in 2025, right? As a statistics nerd, this guy was curious to see how the show's currently perceived, and so he checked things out, and there was a poll to mark this anniversary that came out from YouGov. This is pretty interesting, and this is about the UK, which should be the target demographic here, Disney Plus aside, but whatever. And this is what they're looking at. 26% of UK adults said they had never seen either version of the show. So this is from including the run from 63 to 89, nor the modern revival. Among 18 to 24-year-olds, that figure jumps to 39% who have never seen it before, suggesting the show is, in spite of Russell T Davies' assurances, struggling to connect with younger generations. So remember, Russell T Davies, when they came out with the metrics on this, and they were showing that a lot of these episodes of this new Doctor Who had the lowest ratings of all time. The Christmas special had the lowest ratings of any Christmas special ever, which was only preceded by the Christmas special before, which had the lowest ratings of any Christmas special ever. And of course, the episodes did very, very terribly within the Ncuti Gatwa era in Season 1. And this is all because they changed the Doctor. It's something that the people who love the show tuned out for. And this is the problem that Doctor Who has, that Star Trek has, that Star Wars has. They're obsessed with chasing this. Modern audiences are going to love this because we're going to delve into what's important to them, what gender they are. And they don't understand that people are so fed up with this. People are sick of it. People are not entertained by it whatsoever. They don't relate to it. Having this doctor who doesn't solve problems but actually sits and cries in his little TARDIS and then makes out with dudes rather than actually paying attention to his companion trying to rescue her, that is a problem. That's not the Doctor, and it doesn't make for compelling fiction. Pretty obvious, you'd think, but gosh, they're going to go even crazier. Now, Russell T Davies has done one up on this last season. A lot of what he did was actually just try to ape other popular TV shows and throw them into the Doctor Who universe. They had an episode that was very much similar to Orphan Black. They had an episode that was very much similar to just some horror stuff that he'd seen, and then there's one that's even a Bridgerton episode. It's very obvious what he's doing, and it's lazy writing. I don't know if he's just old and tired, and so he doesn't want to do the work, but that's exactly what was going on. Now, this next season promises to do even more of this type of stuff. They said that they're changing things from sci-fi to fantasy to capture the Harry Potter. Well, it's like, let Harry Potter be Harry Potter. Let this be Doctor Who. They're two different things, and that's not what fans want out of this. They're even doing a Eurovision episode that's going to be all about singing, and it's going to be about gay and trans stuff that's being written by a trans dude who is all about just pushing that agenda on little children. It's disgusting what this guy's done, and it's not going to do well for the show, obviously. And of course, they claim these 18 to 24-year-olds are all into this. They're hip. They're with it. Yeah, they're going to be all gay like Russell T Davies. But no, that's not the case. Very clearly, the fact that 39%, there's a differential of 13% from everybody to just this demographic, which means that the demographic is less inclined to watch this sort of stuff. And this is what they don't get. If they write a show that appeals to, and I'm going to be honest, that a lot of people won't be honest, to white males, because white males like science fiction adventure, like fantasy adventure. If they did that, they'd maintain their audience and they wouldn't have a problem here. And of course, you can capture the next generation by doing that, because if that's going to appeal to young boys as well. But you try to appeal to this like 3%, Zerzem demographic or whatever, you're really just circling the drain. And when you're making things more expensive to produce, which they are bragging that this next season is their most expensive to produce ever, you know that you're going to lose a lot of money when you do that kind of thing. So even among those who watch Doctor Who, the level of enthusiasm is underwhelming. 20% said they prefer the classic series, 15% favor the current version. 10% liked both about the same. 20% said they don't like either. So Doctor Who is just kind of dead at this, and 9% don't know what they thought. That's 9% of people who are just out to lunch. But this is where it's at. This is pretty interesting. So obviously, most the classic is done well, and of course, and then 10% said they both about the same. This also goes all the way back to the David Tennant stuff. It's not just the Gatwa era, right? And so they're remembering David Tennant fondly, and Matt Smith fondly, and Peter Capaldi fondly, and so there's that there that they think of as the current era as well. So you get that. I mean, you'd expect, honestly, that a audience that's at this point, because Doctor Who's been around since 1960, would have been something that like the younger people would have watched. I mean, the ratings were bigger for Tennant. That would have been the most important to them. That they don't favor it on that level is really, really telling. And it's all because of Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa's eras. It's a big problem right here. And this is something that should be a harrowing statistic that they should check out. Look at the age breakdown. Older generations grew up. Remember the original series? There's not that much of it. Again, they're older. They're dying off, guys. I mean, there's not that much. But of course, over 65s, 34% prefer the original. 4% support the current iteration. And for the 50 to 64, shows a similar trend. Also, younger viewers are more inclined to prefer the revival era. Again, this I grew up with Tennant, right, and Christopher Eccleston and the like. And so 18 to 24 said 26% had the modern version, but it's not as strong, right? It drops to 22% among 25 to 49. That's me. And so what happens is when you watch David Tennant, you grew up on it, and then you go back and watch the classic stuff, you actually go, oh gosh, that Tom Baker stuff is actually better. I mean, it's got real hard science fiction to it, right? And when you look at it from that perspective as just a smarter, more intelligent series, you start to prefer that. And that's why it drops to this 22%. That's not very good. And I think the problem with it also is if it just ended with Matt Smith, or they had didn't screw up the Peter Capaldi with bad writing, if at that point, I really think they possibly would have had a higher result with this. But Jodie Whittaker and Gatwa have screwed things up so much that we just all go thumb our noses at it. This modern era now is just destroyed, right? The younger respondents are more likely they have never seen Doctor Who, is most of it. Nearly 40% of 18 to 24-year-olds and 31% of 25 to 49-year-olds said they had never watched either version. And that's of course changed with the older demographic. So what do? You try to appeal to the demographic that would work with that. Like I said, you don't have to make it like some dated kind of thing, really, but you do have to make it smart, intelligent, science fiction oriented, and appeal to white males. And if you do that, I really think the rest will just fall into place. It's pretty obvious. I think this is the same with Star Trek too, but they refuse to do it. They really just want this like minority audience that's not going to come in for this sort of genre. Pretty obvious. Oh well. None of this is shocking. Of course, this run did not do great with the ratings. They acknowledge the problems, but they're not doing anything about the problems. They're going to be doubling down on the newest iteration of Doctor Who coming up, and I don't see this going well for them whatsoever. I really don't. And so unless they actually just do a full stop, reset everything, pretend like this era didn't exist, they're never going to be able to get this back. Because once you go gay, it's over. It really is. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button, my friends. And this is what they're saying. They're not going to get into the identity politics stuff on Doctor Who TV, but when a group like Doctor Who TV admits the problems, you know what the real problems are, and that's what needs to be fixed here. Russell T Davies needs to go. Gatwa needs to go, period. And that's all. All right, check it out, guys. Check out my science fiction if you like my thoughts on storytelling. I think you'll really enjoy this. Check it out in the description below. Thank you so much for reading, and leave a comment with what you think. Do you think it's recoverable, Doctor Who, at this point? We'll be back soon.